Well, hello everyone. Hello, lovelies. And today is Wednesday at noon, and we're getting together for our live session to talk fertility. And I'm just going to give everyone just a few little minutes here to drop into the call before I get fully started. But I hope you all are having a really beautiful day. I hope the weather isn't too harsh wherever you may be, and that you are hopefully looking forward to the holiday season, because I know the holiday season, especially when it comes to infertility, can be really, really challenging. So let's see here. We're actually going to talk about that next week in next week's live session. My plan is to talk about some strategies for you if the holidays are really challenging for you, in regards to children and pregnancy and family and all of these things that come up when you're struggling with infertility. So we'll talk about that in next week's live. Let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead and start. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maral Salerno, and I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner of reclaimoptimalhealth.com, where I help couples just like you resolve their infertility and get back to creating those families you so deeply desire. And in today's live video, we're going to be talking about how to improve low AMH levels. So AMH is your anti-Müllerian hormone. Those of you who have been undergoing any kind of IUI or IVF probably know about this, because you're just checking in with your doc and you're in the very kind of more beginning-ish stages of struggling with your infertility and trying to figure out what you need to do about it. So we're going to be talking about low AMH today and what you can do to improve it from a lifestyle perspective and a functional fertility perspective. Now, as far as my program is concerned, generally, more times than not, women come to me having already run their AMH levels. And so I can utilize this in the very beginning part of our program time together in my fertility success program, whether you do it on your own as the female partner or if your male partner is with you. He can run the program, and he has AMH levels, but we're not usually concerned with them. So I'm able to take that information in the very beginning of the program and utilize it as a way to help you along your journey and help you refine what you're doing to help improve your AMH levels. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So firstly, those of you who are on the call right now, on the live, have any of you had your AMH levels checked? And if your AMH levels have been low, you can let me know that as well. Hey there, Lisa. So when it comes to AMH, I'm sure many of you have already heard of it. Okay, yeah, next week. Yeah, some of you have heard of this already, so just bear with me for a moment so I can explain to those who don't know what AMH levels are, to just give a little introductory, and then we'll get into kind of what disrupts AMH levels and what it is that you can do about it. Hi, Carly. So usually what happens is on the third day of your menstrual cycle, your doctor will want you to take a blood test to look at your blood hormone levels and gauge your fertility potential. Okay, this is how it's typically done, right? And one of them is this AMH level. The anti-Müllerian hormone, it's basically, right, a hormone that's secreted by the follicles in your ovaries. And it's a way for doctors to really estimate your ovarian reserve and your chances for pregnancy with in vitro fertilization. Okay, so it's usually comes up when we're talking about IVF. But this hormone, it's secreted by your ovarian follicles, right? The follicles are the ones that then mature into that one beautiful egg, usually every month, for ovulation. And so the amount of AMH will correlate to your ovarian reserve and the number of follicles that you have. Now, what happens is as you age, right, our highest AMH levels are usually when we first start menstruating, when we're young and teenagers. And then as we get older, this hormone tends to go down. Now, saying that does not mean that you can't get pregnant with low AMH levels. And I always say this too about age. Yes, as you get older, it does become probably more challenging to get pregnant and stay pregnant and carry a baby to full term. But it doesn't mean it's not possible. What you have to remember about AMH and about pregnancy and maintaining pregnancy is your overall health. The terrain of your body, the terrain of your being has to be in really great shape, right? And when you have quality behind you, that quality is what is going to carry out success. Does that make sense to everybody as like a basic philosophy and a mindset and a truth, not just like some la-di-da thought pattern? So usually what happens is that AMH is really hurt or damaged by inflammation. And you've probably heard this time and time again, but it's the truth. Really, the number one cause of infertility is inflammation. And to me, inflammation is the same as stress, okay? And stress comes in a bunch of different forms, okay? It's not just the mental, emotional, spiritual factor, which is important, but it's also the biomechanical stuff. Like if you have really bad chronic aches and pains, but it's also the biochemical stuff going on in your body. So biochemical meaning maybe you have a gut infection, okay? Maybe your thyroid is off. There's a whole biochemistry happening in your body. And remember, we are an interconnected being. I just put out a meme today on Instagram. If you haven't had a chance, check it out. And it's this guy, it's probably from some movie, and he's holding this ball of Christmas lights that's all like tangled up together. And I basically was just saying, it's like when you realize that your fertility actually may have nothing to do with your reproductive organs and may have everything to do with the whole entire rest of your body and how interconnected you are, it's this huge realization. So with your AMH levels, realizing that overall inflammation and cell damage is really what is going to affect it. So that is really the big umbrella. And so all these lifestyle stressors and factors, these inflammatory stress factors, will influence that. So what are the things that you can do to improve it? Well, number one is you can really improve your AMH numbers with your diet. Okay, so getting enough nutrients and quality nutrient dense foods is crucial because you want to be feeding your fertility cells well to help those follicles mature well and to stay healthy, right? So that they have every chance that they can have. So, foods though that are organic, that are pesticide free, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail. Whole foods. So not Whole Foods the store necessarily, but whole foods, right? So looking for foods that are preferably not packaged, not pre-made, not processed, right? And even the organic foods that are packaged tend to have garbage in them. So you really want to look for things that you can put together yourself. And I know sometimes this can feel like a drain, but it's actually a boon. It's a boon for you now because it's going to help you get closer to your baby and rise your AMH levels. But it's also going to help to improve the health of your child and your overall health as a family as you move forward into life. So it's really crucial to make peace with the fact that you need to cook. And that's the ultimate truth that I tell people. You're just going to have to learn to cook. And it doesn't need to take over your whole life. So I give you a bunch of tips and tricks. And actually, you can pick that up in my free Fertility Starter Kit. If you go to my link in my bio, you'll find it there and you can sign up for it and receive it. And in there, I help you write down your own goals, give you a starting place or a refining place for those of you working on a fertility food diet. And then looking at other stress factors that could be influencing your fertility, and this would include your AMH levels. So you want to look for quality animal products as well. So you're going to want to look for possibly pasture raised and organic meats and eggs and healthy fats. And remember, all of these are going to really help to feed those follicles. Now, the second one is all about toxins and chemicals. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably know I post a lot about this, about makeups and lotions and potions. And this also includes things like BPA. So there was a study that found that 100% of the participants in the study had detectable levels of BPA in their bodies. And I have to tell you, a lot of people have detectable BPA. But it was linked to decreases in AMH levels. So the common sources for BPA is eating canned foods with linings that contain BPA, but also just canned foods in general, eating foods packaged in plastics, and absorbing it through your skin, in particular through those receipts you get when you go to the grocery store or you go shopping. You pull up the receipt. Really handle those like they are dirty. We have a tradition in our family that when you reach for the receipt at the store, you want to try to look for the part that doesn't have any ink on it and just pick it up like it's really filthy dirty. And you want to take it, and if you have to keep it because you're concerned about whether or not you have to return something, then fold it up carefully, put it away, wash your hands, or just throw it in the garbage immediately, because that BPA that's in those receipts gets through to your body. And imagine what else may be getting through to your body, like the plastics from plastic water bottles or your food containers and the like. Okay. Now, you don't want to drive yourself bonkers with this, but you want to look for, the highest culprits. So if you're warming your food in plastic, then you're going to definitely want to switch that up to glass. Okay, that would be an obvious. If you're drinking water out of plastic water bottles, or you buy like a big package of water bottles and you leave it in your car and it heats up all day, then you're going to want to switch that up to glass, have one, glass container that you're drinking out of, and then just have like a refillable glass gallon in your car that you can refill up with. That's quality purified water. Okay. Not a Brita over-the-counter water filter. So this will help to improve your AMH levels if you can help to remove that kind of BPA and plastic and toxic chemicals from your life. Now, I talked about eating, organic foods, but pesticides in particular also lower AMH levels. So going organic really helps tremendously. There was a study of women in China that found that higher levels of pesticides were associated with these lower AMH levels. There was another one in rural South Africa that found that when they were exposed to pesticides, they had a 25% decrease in their AMH levels. So, you can see that if you can remove some of these stress factors, being like the pesticides and the toxins, then you're going to naturally begin to boost your AMH levels, let alone to say if you're able to really do some more due diligence and detoxify from these things. Now, the fourth factor is staying active. And this always seems so obvious to everyone, but I think sometimes when we think about exercise, sometimes people think they have to kill themselves. Like you need to be sweating and dying and, like, ooh, 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 like working so hard. And in fact, that may actually be really negative for your overall fertility because it will equate with really high cortisol levels. So some practices that I find really helpful for clients for exercise is going for a nice walk every day, 15 to 30-minute walk. That can be really wonderful, breathing in fresh air, getting out into the light. But also yoga is really wonderful. But if you want something a little bit more, I find that strength training is really beneficial. Sometimes cardiovascular exercise can be a little bit too much. I'm not against it. It just kind of depends on the person. So moving your body, though, will improve your AMH levels, and it's been found in studies to do so. Lastly, talking about a little bit more about toxins and chemicals, particularly titanium dioxide particles, nanoparticles that we see in sunscreen and in other cosmetic products have been really shown to decrease the AMH levels. So instead of using sunscreen, I would recommend just using a hat and, a long sleeve shirt, or it's getting cooler now. So it's a little bit easier to bundle up, and cover up if you're going to be in the sun for extended periods. But you do want to get some sun exposure every day. I think everyone's become a little bit obsessed, if you ask me, about like their skin and, that they can't have any sun exposure and, sunscreen inside the house, outside the house. And it's too much. And so that titanium dioxide can be very, very toxic for your AMH levels. So, you find that a happy medium place where you're getting some sun, you're not overexposing yourself to the point where you're getting burned, but you're not, putting and slathering on the sunscreen constantly. Do any of these sound familiar to any of you? Do any of you guys, maybe eat some of these pesticide foods or using sunscreen or any of that? Let me know in the comments. So remember, you can improve your AMH levels. You just kind of got to go all in. You got to get going. You got to start working on your diet and really start cleaning up, these lifestyle factors and taking good care of yourself. You want to change the terrain of your body and really improve your follicles. So, I hope this is helpful for all of you. Yes, there are supplements, and we can talk about that some more in another session if you guys want. Let me know if you want to hear about supplements for that. But supplements alone can't get you here if your body is toxic. And that's why I wanted to focus on lifestyle factors that can improve your AMH levels, because I think these are the most powerful tools you have at your fingertips on a day-to-day basis. And you want to make sure that if you're going to be going through any fertility methods or treatments like IVF, for example, make sure you give yourself at least 3 months. If not, I highly, highly recommend you take 6 months, which will give you 2 full reproductive cycles to improve your overall AMH levels, follicle health, reproductive health, overall health before you go in and have any of these procedures done. Does it mean it won't happen if you don't wait that long? No, not necessarily. I mean, there's people that have success, but I just want your money to go farther. And there's a possibility it just might happen naturally and you won't even need those fertility treatments. That would be cool, wouldn't it? So I find that it happens a lot. So that is what we talked about today, was about low AMH levels, how to improve them naturally by getting your diet right, by removing your exposure to BPAs and titanium dioxide, pesticides, and toxins, and improving a little bit of your movement without over exercising or killing yourself, and utilizing these tools as a way to improve your overall AMH levels. For those of you who want greater support with this, as well as, investigate possibly some of the other factors that may be stressing and causing your infertility and turn it around, then you can schedule a qualifying call with me. You can go to my website, reclaimoptimalhealth.com/schedule. And you can also go to my link in bio to find a link to it there. And basically in there, we'll have a qualifying call together and talk about how we can get you closer to your baby. I hope this was helpful for you all. I hope it was inspiring and motivating to know, hey, there is something I can do about my AMH levels. It's not just all up to age. Okay, it's about the quality of your health and how stress can decline your overall health as well. Okay. So I'm sending you all so much love. I'm going to just give you a moment in case you have any questions for me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'll end the call here in just a moment. And I'll see you guys back here next Wednesday at noon. I'm here every Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. And you can drop any of your questions in the DMs and Instagram. If you're here with me on YouTube, you can go ahead and comment into this video, and I will see your comments and your questions, and I can utilize that as well, so that you guys get the most out of these sessions, that they are educational, informative, and helpful for all of you. Okay, gang. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Ciao.